You might recognize this journal. I shared it in a video a few months back talking about my plans for shadow work this year and journaling, and I meant it. I started strong until I didn't. This journal hasn't been touched since start of March, and it's now end of April when I'm filming this. It's not because I gave up, but because life gave me something I couldn't write through, or at least not in the form I did up until then. I lost my beloved dog, and I kind of lost myself for a while too. I stopped journaling, I stepped away from social media, I stopped streaming. I didn't have the energy to process anything, let alone put it on paper. It felt like the act of writing would somehow make it all too real, too final. Like putting ink to paper would anchor the grief in a way I wasn't ready for. And I built an entire ritual around journaling that included my dog. So it was hitting me extra hard to not have this ritual anymore, because my dog always was lying right next to me when I was sitting and writing. And that gave me actually the idea for this video, because even though I wasn't writing and journaling in this journal, I was still healing. I still did shadow work, but differently. And perhaps that's something for you too. That's why I'm sharing it in this video. Shadow work doesn't start with a journal. It starts with a mirror. A mirror that reflects the part of you that are hurting or avoiding. So real talk. I'm reading this from my tablet in parts. Memorizing a full script is something I struggle with. Staying on track with my message, what I want to say, is something I struggle with. So I decided to write down first what I want to say, but to save my life, I can't memorize it. And the thing is, memorizing a full script doesn't make my message more authentic. And that's something I want to say to you too. Your progress gets to look how it needs to look. We don't need to perform presence, we get to practice it. So this is me showing up as who I am. And maybe you showing up to watch is your version of that today. So thank you for being here. So I want to show you how many kinds of mirrors there are and how all of them count. Journaling gets its kudos first, right? It's the OG, the one everyone talks about because it just works. It helps you slow your thoughts down so you can actually hear them instead of being steamrolled by them. It gives the parts of you that don't usually have a voice a chance to speak. Especially the ones that live deep in the shadow. The anxious part, the bitter part, the envious, tired, self-sabotaging, numb part. Journaling lets them come up to the surface in a way that feels contained. Because shadow work is ugly. It's not pretty. And there's power in seeing your truth in your own handwriting, in recognizing your pain in a sentence you didn't even know you believed until you wrote it down. And there's magic in pattern recognition, reading back and going, oh, I've said this before. That's the moment when the unconscious becomes conscious. That's the moment when the pattern can be interrupted. But this only works if the journal is something you can actually use. What do you do when it doesn't? You adapt, you don't force it. Sometimes journaling is just not it. Maybe the act of writing is too slow for your thoughts. Maybe you associate journaling with school or self-improvement pressure or cringe old diary entries, or trauma makes you freeze. You're afraid of what might come out if you stop and actually let it. The inner critic gets loud when you try to write, saying stuff like, that doesn't make sense, or that's not deep enough. Or there's shame because you tried it in the past and someone read it that didn't understand it. Or maybe you're just exhausted. Life is a lot. And emotional labor can't always be scheduled between errands and deadlines. So if any of those points felt familiar to you, you just need a new mirror. You're not broken. So what other kinds of journaling are there? What about voice memos? That's an audio mirror. I know, a lot of people say I hate my own voice, but still, grab your phone, open your voice memo app and just talk, rant, whisper, cry, process. This is so good for those of us who process out loud. When your thoughts feel stuck in traffic in your head, voice memos can give them a lane to breathe. Sometimes I say, okay, inner child, what do you want to say today? Or why did that moment hurt so much? And let the words just fall out. No grammar checks, no filter. You don't need a resolution at the end. You don't even have to listen back to it. The medicine here is the speaking. Try naming the file something funny or defiant, like rage dump number 34, or that one time my ego threw a tantrum. Humor can create space around the pain. Or do this. A video diary. Your face holds so much truth, and you can try filming yourself like a private vlog. Talk to your future self, talk to your past self, talk like you're FaceTiming a trusted friend. This can be a space where you see your emotions unfold in real time, where your eyes tell the truth even when your words dodge it, and where you start to feel compassion for the version of you in that frame. Your front-facing phone cam in low light works just fine. Mood lighting actually helps with it, so don't overthink it. And that's basically how I started this content creation journey, with doing exactly that on TikTok. First for myself, then for TikTok, and then I kind of digressed from that. What else do we have? Art journaling. Some truth can't be said with words. They can be drawn or painted or collaged or torn apart and glued and smeared back together. Try creating with no goal, no aesthetic, just raw expression. Color is communication, texture is testimony. Create a safe space to channel your shadow visually. This is especially powerful if you feel blocked or overwhelmed by words. That is also what gets done in art therapy, right? To let even more chaos in, try using your non-dominant hand or closing your eyes while you scribble. And that is often where the gold is. And of course, when we're talking about mirrors, I have to talk about tarot. Tarot gives your psyche a stage. It lets your inner world project itself onto archetypes so you can witness what's going on underneath the surface. You pull the 5 of Cups and think, oh, that's me avoiding grief. You pull the Tower and realize maybe a collapse is necessary. This kind of mirror speaks through stories, symbol, and intuition. It's especially helpful when you're stuck in loops or can't name the feeling but know it's there. If you don't read tarot, use oracle cards or even random images from Pinterest. Let your intuition talk back to you. Then there's a somatic mirror. The body keeps the score, but it also keeps the journal. Put on music that matches your mood. Not the one you wish you were in, but the one you're actually in. Let your body respond. Shake out the grief, stomp out the frustration, stretch the numbness, invite movement to show you what your nervous system is holding. So dancing is a powerful somatic mirror, especially powerful for stored shame. When your body gets to take up space, your spirit remembers it belongs here. That you are whole, body and spirit together. There's a reason, like we have in Grey's Anatomy, these 3-minute dances. It actually works. And I cannot talk about mirror work without mentioning a mirror, right? So you sit in front of a mirror, look into your own eyes and say something kind or true or hard. I see you even when you are angry. I forgive you for disappearing. I am scared and I am here. Mirror work invites self-recognition, not as a performance, but as a confrontation. That one is powerful and tender, and in my books, the most direct form of shadow work of all. There's more. We also have relationships and showing up in relationships as a reactive mirror. Who triggers you? Why do they trigger you? But that's a map where to look next. Dreams are your subconscious mirror. Recurring symbols can be hidden wisdom. Nature's a seasonal mirror. Trees don't apologize for losing their leaves in autumn. So every one of these things is journaling just sideways. The core of it isn't the method, it's the willingness, the presence, and the pause. It's simply the choice to stop hiding from yourself and to get curious about the parts of you that feel hard to love, hard to sit with, hard to express. Healing isn't a checklist. It's not always beautiful or linear or shareable. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's just making it to the end of the day without numbing out completely. Sometimes it's opening the voice memo app and saying, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. That counts, and that is the work. So what if your journal is collecting dust? That doesn't mean you failed, it means your shadow is asking to be met in another way. It means your healing wants to come through a different door. Try one new mirror this week, just one, and see what it shows you. Let me know in the comments what resonated or what your go-to mirror is right now. I love hearing how others are finding their way through. And if this helped, please leave us up so we will meet each other again in the next video. You are doing better than you think. You are already in the process. And see you soon. You are not alone out there.